morning, Penndale families and students, and welcome back to the 2021 school year here at Penndale Middle School. This year, instead of writing a letter to welcome everybody back, I decided to shoot a short video, hoping that I could better explain some of the changes that have occurred here at Penndale. As you all know, this year we will be starting the school year 100% virtually. Now, some of you might be thinking that this is the same thing that ended last school year. The reason I'm shooting this video is to tell you that it's not. It actually couldn't be further apart than the way that we finished last school year. At the end of the school year, we looked at what we were providing. We said, if we are going to have to do this again, we need to increase the rigor, we need to increase the expectations, and we need to increase our delivery and better our delivery so that students are getting the same product that they would get if they were inside of our walls here at Penndale. I'm very happy to say that the changes that we've made, I think, accomplish that. And I hope that you'll think the same once the school year starts. There's a couple major changes that I want to outline in this short video. After that, I hope that you look at the rest of the email and there's links that explain other parts of the changes. But for the time being, I'm going to highlight the two main ones. One, block schedule, and two, synchronous learning. So let me start with block scheduling. Block scheduling and traditional scheduling differ in two main ways. One, the length of the class, and two, the amount of time that they meet each day. So let's look at the length of the class first. In traditional scheduling, students would have their major subjects every day for all 4 marking periods. In block scheduling, students will only have their major subjects for half of the year or 1 semester. So let's look at this. In a traditional schedule like last year, students would have their 4 major core content areas, English, math, social studies, and science, every day for the entirety of the year. With the change to block scheduling, they're only going to have 2 of those at a time. So an example schedule for a student might be first semester, English, and social studies. And then when we hit January and the semester ends, those courses are done. The second semester, then they would have, in this example, math and science. So the reason for this is it eliminates, or doesn't eliminate, it lowers the number of courses that a student has to worry about at one time. Now, that takes us to the second difference in traditional and block scheduling. You might think, well, if the course only meets half of the year, are they covering half of the content? No, we're covering the entire content during that time. And the way that we're doing that is the course periods go from 40 to 42 minutes to a longer block of 80 to 84 minutes. So when you look at instructional minutes across the course of a year, students are getting the exact same instructional minutes, the exact same content, and the exact same delivery that they would in a full year. They're just getting it in half the year. Again, this is accomplished by them only having half of their classes. So you might be thinking, why make this change now when we're going virtual and there's so many things going on? Well, the reason we're making the change now is because we are going virtual. So the Department of Pennsylvania Education, they came out and said all school districts should look during this summer to potentially move to block scheduling. Fortunately, we had already had the process started. Block scheduling can have huge benefits for students when it comes to social and emotional learning. The reason for going to block is all the research shows that it has stronger relationships between students and teachers. Think about it. Instead of meeting 4 teachers for your 4 content areas all at once, first day of school in a virtual setting, you're now meeting just 2 of them. And you're spending more time each day with them, which will increase your comfort level, which will increase communication, and hopefully will decrease your anxiety. There's some other advantages to block scheduling as well. So in these longer periods, students are able to dive a little bit deeper into the curriculum. Teachers can deliver the instruction and then have more time in a day to really build on it and have students try it out and work with them and answer questions. So now that we've learned a little bit about why and what block scheduling means, let's start to talk about instruction And this is the second major change in our delivery from last year to this year. I'm going to start off by defining a term that is used way too much recently, especially in education, but it's synchronous. So I'm sure at this point, everybody has heard of synchronous learning, and here's what it is. Synchronous means that the teacher and the student are going to be online in class together at the same time. This is where it's a big change from last spring. Last spring, when there was new content delivered, a lot of times it was pushed out in readings, in videos, in PowerPoints, that the student was on their own to kind of sift through and to teach themselves. I know teachers were available to ask questions to, and parents did an amazing job kind of answering and filling in those gaps. This year, we don't want that to be the case. This year, when a student goes to school on the first day, they're going to have a set time that you'll see in the bell schedule linked below in this email. They're going to have a set time where they need to be online in a virtual session with their teacher. Now, in a block, you heard me say just a few minutes ago that blocks were going to be 80 to 84 minutes long. What we're requiring from our students is that there is going to be a 60-minute synchronous part of that block. So what that means is the first day, you're going to go into Canvas. Now, there's instructions also linked below on student and parent access to Canvas. So I will address that at a later point in this. But you're going to go to Canvas. You are going to log on to a Google Meet that has been set up by your teacher. And you are going to go into a virtual classroom where you're going to be able to see the other students in your class, and you're going to be able to see the teacher. Every day this will occur. Every period this will occur. Now, the instructions that the teachers have are during that 60 minutes synchronous time, they are going to be teaching you. They are going to be introducing new content. And it's not going to strictly be like this, where it's them talking at you. It's going to be interactive the same way that a classroom is. So an example 60-minute synchronous lesson might look like this. Me as the teacher, I'm going to open up and I'm going to introduce or review what we learned yesterday and then introduce a new topic. I might throw it out to the class and ask for volunteers to explain what they know about that topic or what they've heard or what they think we're going to learn. After hearing that, I'll then dive into where I might have a PowerPoint that I share with you, and I talk a little bit about what we're going to learn, and I start to teach the new content. As we go throughout the class, I might say, okay, class, now we're going to work in small groups, and we're going to work to further our knowledge on this topic. Me as the teacher then will set up breakout rooms, and students will be put into rooms with their peers, and I as the teacher will float around into each classroom, answering questions, giving guidance, and making sure that students are understanding the content and completing the work. This will happen every day. So every day for 60 minutes a period, you are going to have live teacher-student interaction. This did not happen last year, and it was the biggest complaint that we've heard from students, from teachers, and quite honestly, it was the biggest complaint that I had as well. We weren't forming a community. We weren't supporting the learning in the way that Penndale really has in the past and does in person. And we want to make sure that we do that this year. So the synchronous learning piece is huge. Every day you will have class with your teacher live. You will see them on camera. You will be able to ask them questions. You will be able to get support with your work. This change, I think, is going to be what is going to separate last spring's work from this spring's work. It's going to feel more like a school. It's going to feel more like a sense of community. We talked a little bit about how block scheduling helps with the social emotional learning for students. Well, that's the interaction between the students and the teachers. I truly believe that. And we've worked really hard at Penndale in the year that I've been here to try to improve those interactions and to make sure that we're giving every student the support that they need academically, but also social and emotionally. In these synchronous times, students will be able to interact with their teacher and get those supports that they may need. Now, those synchronous times are not the only times that you're going to have access to your teachers or to your counselors or to your administration for that matter. Throughout the day, we'll have built-in office hours, where teachers will have office hours where if you're having a question or you need some extra work or extra time or support with a new topic or even an old topic, you can reach out to them and set a time to synchronously interact with them, whether it's in a small group or one-on-one, where they can go over that learning and they can help you with what you're struggling with. Now, if you say, maybe what you're struggling with isn't necessarily academics. Maybe it's setting up a online workspace. If you can't tell, you heard my dogs earlier. I'm actually down in my basement right now. So if you need help with that, you can reach out to your teachers. You can email your guidance counselor and say, hey, do you have office hours today where the two of us can sit down and talk through some things? They are going to be there to help, as is administration. You can always reach out to me and we can sit down and talk about the same thing, or really anything for that matter. So that's the second difference. We are going from asynchronous, where you're kind of a little bit on your own, to a synchronous model, where you have the support and you have the structure that you would have if you were in person inside of Penndale. So these are the two major changes for this school year. I hope that my video here didn't go too long and isn't too confusing, but if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to your guidance counselor, to any of your administrators, whether it's Ms. Metellus, who is the seventh grade and half of the ninth grade's assistant principal, or Mrs. Robbins, who has eighth grade and the first half of the alphabet in ninth grade, or feel free to reach out to me. And any of us will set aside time to sit down and talk through the changes and make sure that you understand what this school year is going to look like, so that we can guarantee that every single student feels as though they belong at Penndale, they feel a part of our community, and they find success in this virtual realm. So with that, I want to say thank you for taking about 10 minutes to watch this whole video. I really, really, truly miss seeing the students and seeing you guys. It's just not the same, but we're going to try to make it so that it's as close as possible and we have that community. And I hope to see you again in person sometime really soon. Thank you and have a great day.